Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In this week's episode, the Marine Science Center is gearing up for Turtle Day 2018. The upcoming hurricane season means it is time to reevaluate your flood coverage. And the city of Ponce Inlet is bringing awareness to autism. Later on in the program, Joanne Magley talks with Georgia Turner from the West Volusia Tourism Office. Those segments and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. Get acquainted with endangered sea turtles and other marine life during the 16th Annual Turtle Day from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, April 28th at the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet. The Marine Science Center is an environmental learning center providing rehabilitation for sick and injured sea turtles and seabirds. Visitors can learn about marine life in the center's exhibit hall, which includes a 1,400-gallon touch pool, a 5,000-gallon artificial reef aquarium, a living reef, octopus and moray eel exhibits, and a gift shop. They also can watch turtles and birds receive specialized care, visit habitats for bald eagles and wading birds, walk along the nature trail, and climb the observation tower. Attendees can meet glove-trained birds of prey and get their hands wet in the center's touch pool, which features cow-nose rays, smooth dogfish, sharks, and hermit crabs.
It's a wonderful opportunity for families to come out and see the Marine Science Center and all that we do. Of course, with Turtle Day, our focus is on the work that we do, rescuing, rehabilitating, and releasing sea turtles. And it makes a wonderful day to have free music, some food, and see all the work that not only the Marine Science Center, but other environmental organizations are doing. Because the Marine Science Center is an interesting facility. We're not only a public aquarium with chances to do wonderful educational programs for the public, but we also operate two different hospitals, the Sea Turtle Hospital and our Bird Hospital. And we have brought in over 21,000 sea turtles since we opened our Sea Turtle Hospital in 2002. And in 2004, we opened our bird hospital. And since then, we've had over 17,000 birds come through our bird hospital.
Turtle Day is sponsored by Kalin Home Furnishings, Alexis Lenzen CFP Raymond James, and the Friends of the Marine Science Center.
This is going to be my last Turtle Day. I'm retiring, and I'm going to be missing my work here at the Marine Science Center after nearly 14 years here. It's been a wonderful opportunity for me to watch this place grow. And so it's very exciting to have had the opportunity to help shepherd this entire process and to watch it grow and flourish. I mean, I am just a figurehead here. The people who do the real work are often unsung and don't have the opportunity to be in front of a camera, but they are the ones who really make this entire operation work. Not only the staff that is here, but the incredible array of volunteers.
For more information, call the Marine Science Center at 386-304-5545 or visit marinesciencecenter.com. With hurricane season just 2 months away, now is the time for residents to review their flood insurance policies. According to county emergency planners, having flood insurance before it's needed is one preparedness step that's too important to ignore. Most policies don't take effect until 30 days after signing, so it's a good idea to consider purchasing coverage before the storm season.
So now's the time to buy it, because if there's an approaching storm within 500 or 600 miles of Florida, no, you will not be able to purchase a flood insurance policy.
Beyond readying your home and developing a family emergency plan, being prepared for a flood means understanding a bit about the importance of flood insurance.
Storm surge or rising water is not covered by your homeowner's policy. You have to purchase a separate flood insurance policy. And in fact, Allstate did a survey a few years ago, and 44% the people they surveyed thought that their homeowners insurance covered floods, which it does not. And it's also important to remember that there's no such thing as a no-risk flood area.
Because floods can occur anywhere, homeowners should consider purchasing a separate National Flood Insurance Program flood policy through an insurance agent. The program is managed by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. According to LaHue, costs for flood insurance will vary depending on how much coverage you buy, what the policy covers, and your property's flood risk.
How much is your peace of mind worth? I mean, really?
The National Flood Insurance Program offers flood risk maps to help you identify your community's level of risk. According to LaHue, while flood insurance is offered through the National Flood Insurance Program, policies are sold and administered by private insurance companies. Residents are encouraged to find an insurance agent to discuss their policy needs. To learn more about how to prepare for flooding, Volusia County Emergency Management has many resources online at volusia.org/floods. Rabies is an old disease and will always be present here in Volusia County. In this week's Community Health Matters, Dr. Holly Smith has details on how to protect you and your family.
One thing that is unique about rabies is that it is 100% fatal, but also 100% preventable if after an exposure occurs, the person is given the rabies post-exposure prophylaxis.
Post-exposure prophylaxis, well, that's a big word for treatment. You can avoid that big word if you avoid exposure to rabies in the first place. Rabies is an old disease that affects all mammals. That includes humans and their dogs and cats. Both humans and those pets can get rabies from the bite of an infected animal.
Typically, we average about 3 positive rabies cases a year, but we have not had any since March of 2016.
Positive rabies cases among humans and their pets are not common in Volusia County. It's not that it's not here. Rabies is found in wildlife across the state, and unfortunately, it is here to stay. But people can protect themselves and their pets if they understand the disease. Here in Volusia County, rabies is most often found in raccoons and feral cats. Statewide, the disease is most often found in raccoons, bats, and feral cats in that order. Here's how rabies gets from the raccoon, the bat, or the cat to a human or another animal.
Typically, it's a bite wound. With scratches, there is a theoretical risk because for animals like cats and raccoons that do frequent grooming of their paws, if the saliva is still wet when you get scratched and it causes an open wound, then you could potentially be exposed to that. So we do look at scratches from cats and raccoons as potential exposure, not so much dogs.
Bites are by far the most common way rabies is spread. For full disclosure, though, you also can get rabies if you're exposed to the nervous tissue like the brain or nerves of the animal. In Florida, humans have been doing a pretty good job of steering clear of the virus. There had not been a locally acquired case of rabies in a human since the 1940s in Florida until recently.
There were 2 recent cases of rabies in humans in the state of Florida that were acquired here, both due to bat exposures for which the person did not seek medical attention. One of these was in Lake County, one of these was in Highlands County.
Again, both cases of human rabies were caused by bats. Bat bites are so tiny that a person may not even know they were bitten. The bite can be so small that someone would not feel the need to seek medical attention like you would for a dog or a cat bite. But you can get infected by those small bat bites even more easily than from larger animal bites, and it doesn't take much exposure to get rabies. If you have a bat house in your backyard to eat mosquitoes, that does not mean you're going to get exposed to rabies, as long as you keep your distance from the bats and their bite.
We definitely do not recommend trying to capture bats or playing with bats or doing anything with them. If you see an injured bat, call wildlife to go ahead and take care of it.
Raccoons, bats, and feral cats can have rabies for several days and infect you or your pet before they start to show symptoms. But once the virus reaches the animal's brain, you will notice a change.
Wild animals would probably, their behavior would be different, bizarre, unusual, out of character for the animal. For things like raccoons, it's hard to say. It used to be said that if a raccoon is out during the day, he's probably rabid, but because raccoons have gotten so acclimated to people, being out during the day is not a sign for that anymore. But certainly if they're staggering, having seizures, or acting extremely aggressive.
Other diseases can cause similar neurological symptoms, but just because an animal is acting oddly does not mean it has rabies. For example, canine distemper can look a lot like rabies. Animals spread these viruses for several days or longer before they start to show symptoms, and in the meantime, they can look cute and healthy. Here's some advice for pet owners.
Get your dogs vaccinated for rabies and distemper. Cats, make sure they're vaccinated for rabies.
Finally, you never want to wait to seek medical treatment if you think you might have been exposed. Once you or your pet starts to show symptoms, the disease is nearly always fatal. Prevention and quick action are key.
If anybody thinks they could have been exposed through a bite or a bat in their room that they had contact with, then they do need to go see a healthcare provider to get started on prophylaxis. If the animal is available for testing, we can test the animal through our state lab and find out if it was rabid or not. And that's certainly the ideal situation, because then if you don't have to start the prophylaxis, we don't want to give it to you.
If you'd like more information on rabies or rabies prevention, you can find that on the website for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That address is cdc.gov/rabies. For the Florida Department of Health right here in Volusia County, I'm Dr. Holly Smith.
Numerous coastal projects, many of which have been in the works for a year or more, are nearing completion. The updates will provide improved amenities for several coastal parks. Smyrna Dunes Park, one of the county's most popular coastal parks, has undergone major renovations in the past year and a half. Construction was completed in phases so that portions of the park could remain open for use. Facility improvements include an 8-foot boardwalk made with composite decking and handrails, which provides ADA accessibility to the inlet beaches, Ocean Beach, scenic overlooks, and a 350-foot-long riverside fishing pier, complete with benches and shade structures.
We're really excited about this boardwalk because we took the old boardwalk that was over 35 years old and in need of significant repairs, and we've given it a brand new facelift. We've widened it from 4 feet to 8 feet, and the best thing about it is we now have full ADA accessibility, not only to the Atlantic Ocean, but also the inlet shoreline and the dog beach.
A second exciting project that plans to wrap in the coming months is the Hiles Boulevard off-beach parking lot. More than just a spot to park your car, upgrades will add restrooms, a shower, bike racks, landscaping, and 75 overflow parking spaces. Sunsplash Park, an already family-friendly location, will become even cooler with the addition of a new splash pad.
Hurricane Matthew did some pretty significant damages to the Williams Beach approach in Daytona Beach. When we looked at it, we realized that it was a complete redesign, rebuild due to the damage that was there. We are happy to announce that this past Friday, March 30th, we opened the Williams Ave Beach approach to all public vehicles.
Make sure to stay up to date on the many exciting projects taking place. Follow Volusia County on Facebook and Twitter at VC News Info. April is Autism Awareness Month, and for the second year in a row, one police department in Volusia County is doing its part to help spread awareness. The town of Ponce Inlet Police Department has affixed magnetic decals on all its vehicles. The decals are a multicolored puzzle piece, which is the primary symbol for autism.
Actually, there was a police department up in upstate New York that was doing this, and my officer that has the autistic child brought it to me, and I thought it was a great idea, so we thought it's something that we want to be a part of. So I believe we're probably the only agency in the state of Florida that's doing this right now, but hopefully it'll catch on and everyone will put these decals on their cars in April to make people aware that April is Autism Awareness Month.
More than 3.5 million Americans currently live with autism spectrum disorder, and 1 in 68 children are born with a variation of it. Ponce Inlet Police Chief Frank Fabrizio says the decals are a simple way to start a conversation and educate the public and its officers about dealing with special needs individuals.
We just feel like this is something we can make the community more aware of. We put all our officers through autism training so they're aware if they come across someone, the signs and things they need to be aware of. And we just thought this is something to make the community aware, kind of gets an engagement where sometimes our officers can stop and talk to people about the autistic situation that's out there with some people that we deal with.
For more information on World Autism Awareness Month, you can visit autismspeaks.org.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Let's join Community Information Director Joanne Magley in the studio with her guest, Georgia Turner, Executive Director of the West Volusia Tourism Office.
Thanks, Amber. Well, living in Volusia County feels like vacation most of the year, so it's no wonder why millions of people flock to the Sunshine State for their vacation. So joining us today in the studio is Georgia Turner. She is the Executive Director of the West Volusia Tourism Advertising Authority. Hi, Georgia.
Hi.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with tourism here in West Volusia. How are things going so far this year and the past year, since it's been a while since we talked to you?
Well, it's going great. It really is. We're already up 20% year over year.
Wow.
In our tax collections, and that's really how we see how things are going. So it's been a great year. It's been a fantastic winter so far, I guess you'd say, and going into an even better spring and summer.
And so how does that correlate with the rest of the state of Florida? What are the numbers looking like for the state of Florida?
I think we're all doing very well. Florida's still the hot topic, a great place to come.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, people always love to come to the beach.
Right.
But they're also discovering different parts of Florida, like what we have here with the springs and all of the fantastic things that we have to do here, kind of like that undiscovered Florida.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to more of your gems
Mm-hmm.
in a few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
but let's tie in Orlando a little bit, because Orlando is one of the biggest destinations in the world,
Right.
and that has to help
It
us
does.
being 45 minutes or so just from the big city.
Right, to be a little bit less than an hour from one of the biggest attractions in the whole United States, and really probably in the whole world,
Right.
does not hurt at all. We always have a lot of folks that come over to take advantage of our attractions and to come over and see what we have to offer here. There's a lot of people who are coming to Orlando for not just the first time, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, especially international visitors. So we're not a huge destination for international visitors, but we do get a lot of those what I call accidental tourists,
Right.
that have been to Orlando so many times. They're like, well, what else is there to do?
Right.
So they'll venture, they have their own car and they'll venture over this way. So that's definitely a help to us. So we do a lot of different things. We were early into social media, so we work a lot with trying to put information out on our social media networks. We're huge on Facebook. We are not only what you get for free, but also do a lot of sponsored stories and sponsored information on Facebook, YouTube. We're really kind of delving right now into Instagram, some of the other things like that. So, but since our name is not known, since West Volusia is really not known, but people love what we have to offer here, we do a lot with Google AdWords to try to buy search. So when somebody will search, oh, well, I want to go to Undiscovered Florida, or historical attractions in Florida, or manatees in Florida, that they know what they're looking for, but they may not know exactly where it is.
Like you mentioned, the natural assets with the St. Johns River, the manatees. You also have a beautiful downtown that is a great asset. Talk a little bit about what's downtown, in addition to the unique art that people can see when they're here as well.
Well, that was one of the things that was coming out of my mouth. Really, we have always been an art destination over here in the western part of the county. We've got the fantastic museum. They've just had this fantastic exhibit, the MC Escher, that's been in town, that's brought thousands of people into the area that would have never come before, just because Escher's kind of a name brand and people know that. So we've got, the two campuses of the museum. We've got the sculpture walk, which is very, very popular. We have our office here is in downtown DeLand, and people come in every day saying, what is there to do and see? They see this fantastic brochure that tells that we've got public art all over the place, and that's really attractive to people. Of course, our murals, the mural walk is an amazing thing to do as well. So it's just everywhere that you look in downtown DeLand, including the utility boxes that are painted, or that are, they're painted with beautiful artwork. I mean, everywhere that you look in downtown, and really throughout the whole entire area, we have a lot of fantastic artists.
So talk a little bit about the artist in residence, the Erica Group.
Yes, speaking of which, Erica Group is known very well throughout all of West Volusia, because she is the person who created the angel wings that are located in what's called Pill Alley, or now Wing Alley, in downtown DeLand. We have hired her and call her our artist in residence. We've commissioned her to do 5 other sets of wings. So in addition to her angel wings that are in downtown DeLand, she's also already done 1 set of wings out at the DeLand Airport at Skydive DeLand. She did a set of biplane wings that's kind of cool, where people go and have their picture made in front of that. She also did her 2nd set of wings at Barberville Pioneer Settlement, that's up in Barberville North. She did a set of peacock wings, because there's a lot of peacocks out there, so those were kind of her inspiration there. Her next set is going to be in Casadega, which is our spiritualist colony here that we have, spiritualist camp, that she's doing a set of fairy wings. They have a fairy garden, a fairy walk, fairy trail out there, so she's doing a set of fairy wings. Then she's probably going to go to Lionia Preserve down in Deltona and do a set of scrub jay wings, and then a couple more to be determined.
Well, I'm sure that attracts so many people, because you see it on their social media pages, your friends and such. Next thing you know, they have, they have the wings.
It's just funny what attracts people to a place. Apparently, there was a little blurb about her, a part of Visit Florida, that was on Good Morning America the other day, and said, come by, and we probably had 20 people walk in and say, I want to find out where those wings are and have my photo made. It's funny what attracts people, but that little kind of, attraction or attention getter is it's just a funny thing that happens.
So it makes sense that you would commission her to do more of those, because you've been able to show that this is attracting people to the area.
Right. And this is going to be cool, because at some point we'll have a map or a brochure that shows all of the wings, and we're calling it the Wings of the West, and it'll be the Wings of the West Trail. And when people come into our office or to another visitor center in Daytona or New Smyrna, we can give them the map and tell them they can go have their photos made everywhere. Because right now, that's what it's all about, is having your photo made and put it on social media.
Right. So talk about some of the other things going on in West Volusia that are things that you promote to bring people on this side.
Well, 2 of the biggest things that we have are 2 of our state parks here. Blue Spring State Park, where the manatees are, and then where the fantastic springs are the rest of the time, where people can come and play in the springs. So we're very fortunate to have probably one of the best state parks within the whole state system with Blue Springs State Park, and it's just a great place to be able to go and see manatees or to just swim in the springs throughout the year. So that's one of our biggest attractions. Of course, then we also have DeLeon Springs, which I could say DeLeon, but DeLeon Springs, where you can cook your own pancakes, and that's really such a popular thing. We were just featured on Man vs. Food a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's a couple of months ago now. So we've had tons of folks come out there, and if you haven't been out there to cook your own pancakes on a table with a griddle in the middle of it, that's really something to see.
Yeah, that is fun, but that's also another beautiful, just a beautiful park.
It is, and I think that's probably our biggest attraction that we have is those two state parks. Of course, Huntoon out in DeLand as well. Then we've got the National Preserve at Lake Woodruff. So it's abundant what we have here for wildlife, to be able to see wildlife, to be able to go on a tour boat and look over and see owls flying down and actually perch on the boat, or to see a gator on the bank. It's just a really pretty thing to do.
And also, people want to come to DeLand, whether they live here or not, because it's a beautiful place to get married.
It is, and that has been a really cool thing that's happened within the last few years, is all of the venues that are popping up for people to get married. From all the way from Barberville down to Enterprise, we've got the Barberville Pioneer Settlement. That's a beautiful place, kind of a rustic place to get married. Then we have of course, the old courthouse, which is gorgeous here. In Artisan Alley, we've got a garage back in the back, garage by the week, and venue by the weekend for people to get married. The Stetson Mansion's a beautiful place to get married. And we also have Harmony Gardens, which is a place in DeLeon Springs. I mean, just, you can go on and on and on and on. So this year, we have really been promoting destination weddings really heavily, because we've also got great places to stay here in West Volusia. So we're doing a wedding guide that's going to be coming out within the next couple of months, and we've been doing wedding shows. There was one, throughout West Volusia and throughout the state, trying to bring people here to plan their weddings. They're planning a little farther out, so some of the people that we're talking to are planning like 19, 20, 21 even, but it's a great market for us, and it brings people, what we're trying to do is bring people to stay here and to stay in one of the historic hotels, or one of the, wherever they want to stay. People get married at Highland Park Fish Camp and have a nice rustic wedding out there as well. So it's a lot of cool places to get married.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
So what, any other special events that you have coming on this year that people might be interested in?
Well, April is a big month for special events. There's I always talk about beer, but there's a beer festival on National Beer Day, I think it is, in DeBerry. There's Art Among the Trees that's going on at a little nice little area up in DeLeon Springs. There's the DeLandapalooza that's happening in downtown DeLand. So we really encourage people to follow us on Facebook, or to look at our website, which is visitwestvolusia.com, because we've got a great calendar of events. So that's just April. If you think of the things that are going on, Cracker Days coming up at the Volusia Fairgrounds.
What is Cracker Day?
Cracker Day is kind of a rodeo and a big barbecue feed that the Cattlemen's Association does.
Crack of the whip,
amazing.
Right?
Yes, that is a very fun event. I went last year, and it's a blast.
I will have to check that out.
Yeah, a lot of great things.
Georgia Turner, Executive Director of the West Volusia CVB, thank you so much for all your information. And you make me want to just come out here more and more.
Come on. Well, you're always welcome.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Amber, back to you.
Thanks, Joanne, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond. Have a wonderful evening.